Again, if you're out watching us at a distance, we will start the program a little bit late. We've had quite the thunderstorm locally, and audience is still arriving, so it'll be a few minutes. Thank you. Technical problem. Forgot to push record. That's fine, but now we're recording for our purposes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Y'all don't look too wet. Our students are, but that's okay. We are playing acoustically today. Nothing other than this mic is wired. Welcome to this concert by the Baylor Bronze Handbell Ensemble. In addition to you in this wonderful recital hall, we are also joined by a virtual audience of family members, friends, and handbell enthusiasts from across the country who could not make it to Waco, but are watching a live stream of this concert. It is my understanding that several of the composers for the pieces on this concert are also watching as well. And we did have some fun technical issues with it, but I think we're up and running now, so great. As you may notice through this concert, we enjoy performing a wide variety of styles and sounds that include pieces that are at home in church, on Broadway, on the radio, and even some that are hard to define. In this way, we hope to continue to support the understanding that handbells offer a versatile set of sounds created by gifted composers and arrangers that are performed by physically talented musicians. Synergy is an original composition for handbells by the very prolific composer Kevin McChesney. In this piece, we bring in the big guns, the low octave of handbells towards the end, Synergy. you in the audience have run handbells in a church or community group? Pretty good, about 40%, 35% maybe or so. And I know at least one is out there. Any former members of Baylor Bronze? One, two. Thank you, White, too. And that Lizzie as well. Great. Thank you all so much for coming back. I really appreciate that. If there are any current students who are perhaps interested in learning more about ringing handbells at Baylor, I'd be glad to visit with y'all after the concert or through email, by the way. That's the commercial. The traditional African-American spiritual Elijah Rock gets a fresh, jazzy treatment from arranger Ben Tucker. It includes a number of techniques that are unique to handbells. Elijah Rock. In the late 1800s to early 1900s, Alexandre Guillemot was a highly regarded French organist, performer, and teacher. It was in 1862 that he composed this piece for the organ. And perhaps appropriate to this evening, this beautiful music reminds me of a duck. A duck on the water, you know, on the top, it looks so smooth as glass. This duck is just floating along. and that's represented by the half notes and whole notes that make up the melody line in this piece. However, underneath the water, things are happening, right? And in this case, in the music, it is a constant stream of 16th notes from the first measure to the last measure. And there's a lot happening throughout this piece. We're working really hard on that. So, ergo the duck. All right. Also near the end of this piece, there is a solo section that Brittany Ducot is going to take care of for us today. As soon as you get set up. Prayer. We will next hear from a group of 4 ringers who have worked up a special piece on their own. Playing in a small group like this usually means that each person has more bells than normal to be responsible for. In addition, there is a greater amount of teamwork, movement, and bell sharing going on. And for these and other reasons, small groups come with a higher degree of difficulty. 3 of these students are current ringers, and the 4th person has been in the Baylor Bronze for a number of semesters but was unable to sign up this semester due to a scheduling conflict. We welcome back to the Baylor Bronze stage Wyatt Snyder as the quartet performs Valerie Stevenson's This Little Light of Mine. Before we continue with music and to allow them a little more time to reconstruct the table, I'd like the students to introduce themselves to you And if you would say your name, of course, your major, and let's see, what else we want to do. How long you've run handbells, and the mystery question of this concert, who is your favorite Disney villain?
My name is Evan. I'm a computer science major, freshman. I've been reading, this will be my 13th year. Favorite Disney villain is, there's a lot of Disney villains. Can you narrow it down for me, like any movie made by Disney or just like classic Disney villains?
Yes.
I like Darth Vader, I guess.
All right, hey, I'm Taylor Sexton. I'm from Texarkana, Arkansas. I'm a corporate communications major. I have rung on and off since like 6th grade, but didn't start taking it seriously till this year. And my favorite Disney villain is, oh man, what is his name? He's the green car in Cars. Someone help me out here. He goes Kachiga. The green car. The green car.
Hi, I'm Cassie. I'm a freshman statistics major. I've been ringing for 5 years now. Favorite villain, I guess Ursula from The Little Mermaid. She's fun.
Hi, my name is Daniela Morales. I'm a freshman psychology major, and my first time ringing was this semester, and my favorite Disney villain is Maleficent.
Hi, my name is Miriam McCormick. I'm a sophomore business fellow, finance and math major, and I've been ringing for 2 years now. And I think my favorite Disney villain doesn't end up as a villain. So the horse from Tangled starts off going very against the protagonist, but then it's a nice little redemption story and becomes very funny and helpful. So.
Hello, my name is Alex Nile. I'm an accounting major. This is my first semester ringing, and I'd say my favorite villain would be Cruella de Vil because, like, who doesn't want 101 dogs?
Stuffed or otherwise. Yeah, my name is Joshua Turpin. I am a seminary student and also mastering in music and church music. This is probably my 3rd year, maybe 3rd year plus. I take the class off and on, and I've been here forever. At Baylor. So I'd have to say that my favorite Disney villain is Hades from Hercules. Yeah, he's one classic guy.
My name is Ying Luo. I'm from Shenzhen, China, which is geographically next to Hong Kong. I'm a 2nd year church music master with organ performance emphasis. About Disney villain, I watched them so long ago that I don't really remember. My apologies.
Hello, my name is Brittany Jaco. I am a sophomore church music major. My favorite Disney villain, I just thought of Cruella de Vil because dogs. Yeah. Oh, I've been ringing 10 years now. Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Tessa Breeding. I'm a senior neuroscience major and I'm also pre-med. I'm from Houston. I've been ringing handbells for a really long time, since I was in elementary school, and I've been ringing with this group all 4 years, so I'm really sad to be leaving. But don't make me cry, stop it. But I think my favorite Disney villain is Maleficent.
Hi, my name is Zane Freemeyer. I've been ringing for also since elementary school. I'm a senior church music major, graduating this year, and I've been ringing with Baylor Bronze since sophomore year, and not as quite as long as Tessa, but yeah. My favorite villains are the hyenas from Lion King.
My name is Jane Ross. I'm a freshman electrical engineering major. I've been ringing for this semester. And my favorite villain was Hades, but he stole it, so.
And since I'm also ringing on a piece, I'm Bob Avant, and I've been ringing since, I have no major. I've been ringing for 36 years, directing for about 33 of those, 35 of those, I don't know, somewhere there. And my favorite Disney villain has to be Ursula. That voice, can't go wrong. Shifting gears and generations a bit, our next selection is an arrangement that was made famous as the biggest song from the 1952 award-winning musical by the same name. One of the stars in the movie, Gene Kelly, has a famous scene where he sings this song while dancing down the street as it's pouring rain, much like what you experienced on your way here this evening, singing in the rain. I think as a personal fundraiser, they may be willing to sell those to you for if the price is right. Shifting gears again, we have an interesting treatment of the traditional Joshua Leavitt composed hymn tune, that he published in 1831. As indicated by the title, this arrangement by Sandra Tucker adds a Celtic flavor to the tune throughout. The hymn tune is presented clearly in the middle of the piece by the hand chimes. An interesting aspect to this piece is that there are no accidentals. And on the surface, you would think, correct bells in hand, they're good to go. But they do have to put down and pick up hand chimes along the way. So there is a little bit of that issue going on. And there's, quite honestly, several sections that are more challenging than others, even with no bell changes. Celtic Dance on Pleading Savior. We come to our next piece that is one that I have only programmed once before in any ensemble. This piece is a powerful and somber lament in G minor To add to the effect, we performed this piece largely on hand chimes, with the strongest section moving to handbells before returning once again to hand chimes. In addition, the entire piece is performed without damping or stopping any of the sounds. When I first conducted this piece a number of years ago, the tragic shooting had recently taken place at Virginia Tech, and one of my handbell ringer members was a graduate from that university. Today, we dedicate this piece as an expression of the sadness from all of the tragic events that we have experienced as a nation in recent years. How we deal with this, whether by action, prayer, or other response, is an individual expression and emotion. Ultimately, we choose our path. In the end of this piece, it ends with an empty chord that is neither major nor minor, which we would perceive normally as happy, or hopeful, or poignant, or sad. The listener, you, are allowed to project your own outlook to this ambiguous end. We would like to ask that you offer silence instead of applause at the end of this performance. This is Aria for Handbells by Dale Wood. Thank you for that. This next original piece for handbells is written by one of my favorite new composers, Matt Compton. I say new because although he has nearly 40 published pieces for handbells, he is only a couple of years removed from having earned his bachelor's degree in music. In this piece, his construction includes two sections, with the opening being more lyrical and the second being more energetic. What makes his pieces interesting musically is that he finds ways to introduce themes and then he weaves them in and out of different sections in very creative ways. You can hear some of the early material reappear in the ending section. Listen hard for that, it's in there. This is Canticle by Matt Compton. Thank you so much. We next perform a very unique and surprising arrangement of Amazing Grace, written for handbells, alto sax, and, of course, cowbell. The piece establishes a slow jazz rock groove kind of sound before the tune enters along with the instruments. True to form with composer Jason Krug. Hi Jason, I believe he's watching. He enjoys offering little twists and surprises to the listener, where you may hear a wrong note because Jason repeats it several times. We call it jazz, and that's okay. This piece has an infectious sound that will likely stay with you for a good while. And we are pleased to be joined by the talents of Izzy Vernon on alto sax, who graciously agreed to perform with us after our other student developed a conflict. And we are so blessed to have so many talented students here in the Baylor School of Music. Izzy, come on up. Thank you. This is How Sweet the Sound by Jason Krug. For those of us who are fortunate to be called the director of an ensemble here at Baylor, we all share the same experience of being witness to the development of the individual talents that we see in the members into a cohesive ensemble by the end of the semester. We also experience the melancholy of the reality that these are all students who invest part of their short time at the university in our ensemble, and that at some point they will graduate, hopefully, and of course, leave the group. This happens all too soon and too often for me, but it does happen every year. So let me introduce the two members who are graduating and, ask them to say a little bit about their future plans. First is Tessa Breeding, and yay, Tessa Fan Club. I believe Tessa has been in this ensemble for 7 semesters. I think she missed 1, right? Yes, 7 semesters.
So I'm hoping to get a job in Dallas while I do my gap year. I'm applying to med school in the summer, so hopefully I get into med school.
And next person is Zane Freemeyer. And Zane brought his, y'all brought a bus down, didn't you, from Fort Worth? Okay, most of his family is here. Zane has been in this group, I believe, for 6 semesters, so that's really excellent. Unusual to have people in that consistently here at Baylor. So Zane, tell us what you'll be up to.
In the fall, I'll be attending Bragg Divinity School in Fort Worth to study for a Master's of Divinity to further a career in ministry. So, yeah.
I think it's great that the 2 people that are graduating are extending their learning to higher levels still. I think that's wonderful. I also want to thank, one more thing, that's right. I have a little something for each of them. And just inside there, you'll dig deep. You'll find 2 items. One is your first Christmas tree ornament to help remember us by. It's a copper bell. And the other is a gift card to Starbucks, because everybody can use that. All right, I also want to thank all of these amazing student musicians. They showed patience and tenacity at the appropriate times. They left every rehearsal as a better performer, individually and as a group. They've all showed an amazing amount of teamwork, which probably is the best definition of what handbell groups are about. This particular group has achieved a great deal by first learning and working on the basics as individuals, and then really stretching and growing into this excellent ensemble. It has been an honor to work with each of you this semester. Thank you. Our last selection, our final selection, is one that you would more than likely hear on the radio. Snow Patrol is a band that formed in Ireland in the early 2000s. The group had a mix of successes and also had to overcome a lot of challenges that would have sidelined most other groups. The song Chasing Cars and the group caught a big break in 2006 when the song was featured on an episode of the very popular TV show Grey's Anatomy. And at that time, if it was on Grey's, it was destined to be a big hit. That episode brought this song and the group a lot of attention, and in fact, that song became nominated for Best Single at the Grammys that year. We want to thank you, amazing people, for persevering through the weather, through the storm, and we hope you go home singing in the rain and having enjoyed this wonderful concert. Thank you all so much. This is Chasing Cars. so very much, and feel free to come up and visit with the ringers.
just trying to support her. I told you. I'm supposed to play you Sunday night, you know. Only have a bone spring. Nice job, though.
Come back up here.
We're going to take a picture together.
If you're still out there, thank you so much for attending at a distance. Hopefully you were able to hear. We had to go to Plan B on the technology, but I think it's probably worked fine for us. So thank you, and have a good evening.